Hey, it's Jordan Cooper. I'm on the line with Josh Spector of ConnectedComedy.com, and Josh has been on my radar for at least the past few months because we kind of share something in common in a kind of weird, kind of contrapositive type of way, where I'm a professional comedian who happens to be involved in the marketing industry. Well, Josh, on his blog ConnectedComedy.com, he's a marketing person that is getting involved in the comedy industry. So first off, like you're from LA, so I mean you obviously have a big base of people that are doing comedy, want to do comedy, and I'm out here in Kentucky, kind of helping out little comedians. Like as a marketing person, what made you want to start like helping out comedians see that as I would say that the stage isn't the only place where content lives?
Mhm. Well, I think to start, just a little bit about my background real quick. I have worked in a combination of marketing, producing, and business development, all pretty much tied in some way or another to the internet and to entertainment, and particularly to comedy. I started working in comedy about 5 or 6 years ago, producing shows, monthly shows here in Los Angeles, and also a couple national comedy tours. And in the process of doing that, I really got to know a lot of comedians out here. And what I found was a lot of them were starting to shoot videos and throw them up on YouTube and do that kind of thing, but they weren't getting seen, and they didn't really know how to promote them or get them seen. So I initially started, I had launched my own blog called whipitoutcomedy.com. And that was really just a place to kind of aggregate and showcase the best stuff of people that I knew. Along the way, that eventually led to that blog was acquired by comedy.com. Comedy.com hired me to be in charge of content and marketing. I was there for a few years and then recently left to start Connected Comedy. What I've seen is the reason I'm doing this, besides being passionate about comedy and marketing, I saw a huge opportunity because I knew that all of these comics that I had become friendly with and was working with had a lot of talent, but there was nobody out there explaining to them how to grow a fan base. There was nobody showing them, okay, here's how you use these digital tools and all the new stuff that's bubbled up in the past few years to really create your own career. And I felt like that was something that I could help them do.
Well, I think it's a very big void in the market because, and I mean, as a comedian, I work with many on the trails, and I see like that a lot of comics and a lot of entertainers and musicians as well. I mean, any creative person that performs and does gigs, I think the shift in mindset on like why you're doing it is the core of the problem that we see as far as like you're saying that they don't know how to use these tools and build their own fan base because I think and I fell into this trap also. I mean, I've been doing comedy for 15 years, and I mean it was a revelation like maybe only 2 years ago that the gigs weren't how you're going to make the career. It's selling directly to your fans that
Yeah.
makes your career. I mean, it's the fact of the matter is that mo- most comedians, especially road comedians, treat their merch as the extra money. Like,
Right.
oh, I'm going to get paid $1,200 to headline this
Right.
weekend, and then if I make $500 in CD or DVD or whatever mugs or T-shirts, that gets me by. That makes it a decent living. Which instead of thinking, oh, the gig pays 1,200. This is, I mean, big musicians think this way, that
Yep.
the gig only pays $50,000, but we're going to sell $400,000 in merchandise. So it has nothing to do with how much you get paid for a gig or what gigs you do. It's a matter of how can I get myself seen in front of as many people as possible, and then once they see that they like me, how do I get them to give me money?
Yeah, and I think also it's even a level above that. If you look at any facet of the entertainment industry, whether it's comedy, whether it's music, whether it's film, the mindset of the artists and the creators is I need someone to give me permission to have a career. And that used to be true, but it's not anymore. But the problem is most people are still in that mode of I need a comedy club to give me permission to put on a show there. I need a TV network or a film studio to give me permission to make my movie. The reality is that's not true. And I think there has to be a big mindset change where comedians have to start looking at it and saying, well, wait a minute. I don't need a comedy club to allow me to put on a show. I just need to be able to get 100 people to come see my show. And that to me is what I talk to when I talk to comics. I think that's one of the first things that I try to get across from them is, don't this is a great time, and that you no longer have to sit around and wait for someone to permit you to succeed.
Right. That's exactly the point. And I do see a lot of waiting for the phone call from the booker
Mm-hmm.
instead of thinking of, well, even if you want to go the route of I want to just play comedy clubs and go through middlemen, the fact that you could draw people makes you get paid more
Yep.
because the place could obviously sell more drinks and stuff like that. But the whole concept is the clubs aren't in it for the talent. They're in it for, well, the butts and the seats.
Yep.
But that's also but that also has to be your attitude as well, because instead, to me, it's a matter of, like, I'd rather know, like, how many people will be there, and basically to use a marketing strategy is basically my stand up, what I do on stage, even though it's the core of what I am, is really the free carrot to get them on an upsell.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, especially since you're in a form, like if you're a good road comic, like you go out and you get booked to be at a comedy club, but the people really aren't coming to see you.
Right.
They're just coming to the comedy club because they know that good comedians come there. And the simple fact of the matter is, and I get this realization through the comedians all the time when I ask them, like, how many friends do you know that go to a comedy club, and then you ask them the next day, like, who they saw, and they don't know who the fuck they saw.
Yeah.
So it's like, how could they ever become your fans if you basically performed in front of people that didn't really come for you? 250 people, you killed, and you let all 250 people leave out the door saying that guy was great, and they're
Yeah.
going to totally forget about who he is. Now you have no way of contacting. You can't say, "Hey, I was that guy. You want to see
Yeah.
me again? You want to buy my DVD? You want to at least subscribe to my blog or my Twitter or Facebook or something?" You're just letting people go out the door, assuming that you're building fans by selling 3 DVDs after the show and possibly giving out a couple of website cards or business cards, when easily you could do a gig with over the course of a Wednesday through Saturday, get 1,000 people in the door, and if you could get every single person's email address, that's worth more than selling 20 DVDs.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think, it's funny because I would say that 99% of comedians, if you ask them, how are you going to further your career? They would say, oh, I'm going to get better, or they'd say, I'm going to get funnier. And neither of those things will actually further their career. But yet that's what they work at. I work at and I'm not saying it's not important. It's important to work on your act and to be funny, and it will definitely help you further your career. But the reality is being a little funnier is not going to help you get booked. Not nearly as much as being able to say, hey, you put me up on your showcase and there were 40 people there, and I got in contact with 30 of them, and they said they'd come back the next time.
Right. Well, or I'd say that the business model of comedy clubs is that if I went to the local club here and said I could draw 250 people in a night for 5 days, they'll book me without even
Oh,
looking
absolutely.
at me. I mean, I could literally get on stage and just hum for 2 hours. If I could draw 1,250 people
Yep.
in at 10 bucks a piece,
Not
and
only will they book you, they'll give you a better deal.
right, they'll give me a tour deal.
Yeah.